Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Good morning, guys. It's 7:57 on Tuesday the 21st of October 2025, and that means that we've completed 3 years and 29 weeks of what will be roughly an 8-year FIRE journey, or FIRE experiment if you prefer. As the market is due to open in around about 3 minutes. But I like to get on just ahead of that, just to have a look and see where things closed the previous trading day, which I believe was yesterday. So as you can see, the current price there for the S&P 500 in GBP on the London Stock Exchange closed yesterday at £95.03. That was up 1.6%, which from experience is rather a lot for this index. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that correct slightly today. Could happen first thing, not too sure whether it will or not. Or at some point during the day. Now, saying that, that's not the highest point that we have seen to date. You'll see that whenever we scroll down a little bit further. But before that, let's just have a look at the figures. So the portfolio value as things stand is sitting at 29,100. The return on investment 31 and a bit %. And there are 306 shares in the portfolio. The average purchase price currently sitting at 72.45. So as I say, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to ignore the AI analysis and the feed. Seem to be adding different bits into this as time goes on, but it's not a problem. So if we look at the stats here, on the left you've got the stats for the 1 day. So for the 1 day the high was 95.18, but if you look at the 52-week rolling period here, you can actually see that the highest point reached to date was 96.50. So I don't think there's anything else there that I want to comment on right now. According to the clock in the corner, it is now 8 o'clock, although it doesn't appear as if things have changed here just yet. So what I'll do while we're waiting for the market to open and start moving is I will draw your attention first off to Monzo.
I want a bank that makes money easy. That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Race you.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw.
Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings pot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
We can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, so as you can see there are affiliate links in the description for the video. I think there's one for Monzo and one for Smarty Mobile currently. Sometimes the terms associated with those can change ever so slightly, so if you do decide to sign up to either of those companies, I am a customer as well. I'm very happy with them, and I will probably gain some kind of a benefit, just depending on what the terms are at the time. And yeah, the affiliate links can change from time to time. Previously we did have also a affiliate link to get some free shares through Trading 212. That promotion has now ended, but it does reoccur periodically, so I would expect that will be back again at some point in future. And I suppose maybe it's worth saying, if you are interested in investing, but you haven't yet taken the plunge, if you're interested in going in with the Trading 212 platform, and you're sure that you know what you're doing, you understand the risks, and you're sure that you don't need financial advice, and that your risk tolerance is appropriate, then I suppose you might like to hold off until the next promotion occurs. Although I suppose in real terms the promotion terms as expressed previously used to be that you could win or be allocated up to £100 of free shares. So 100 was the maximum, and you could have received anywhere in between £0 and £100 worth. So difficult to say. It's probably not worth holding off, I suppose. If you're gonna open an account, just open one, would be my suggestion. Particularly whenever I think back to the likes of J.L. Collins' statement that the best time to invest was yesterday. And with those words ringing in our ears, let's get on and do this week's purchase. So just before I do that, let me just highlight the fact that the market has opened. It's up 0.5% today so far, currently trading at 95.22. If you've watched the channel on a regular basis, you'll know that each week I invest 120 theoretical pounds in the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund. They're theoretical because this is a practice account on Trading 212. I do have my own trading account, but I keep the two separate. I keep my own trading account offline, or at least off YouTube, for privacy reasons. But the data that you'll see here in terms of the actual performance of the market and so on is real. So we're investing 120 theoretical pounds. Today that's going to buy us roughly 1.26 shares. I normally do this as a market buy, so trading when the market is open, as now, without setting any limits or anything like that. There is no commission. We will send the order. It has executed already, and we got 1.26 shares for a purchase price of 95.20. Now, with that all done, just conscious of the fact we haven't actually looked at the notifications today so far. But before we do that, let's just acknowledge the fact that the figures have updated here. So the figures are now showing a portfolio value of 29,300, and 307 and 3/4 shares in the portfolio. So that has updated. It's not just price fluctuation. And I suppose maybe worth pointing out that in terms of the actual price of the stock itself, it is sitting just shy of £100. I'm pretty sure by the time this experiment is at its end, the price will be well over £100. And we are also not too far off the £30,000. And what did I say we were? Was it 3 years and 29 weeks in? Yeah, 3 years, 29 weeks in. And we already have a portfolio value not too far from the 30,000, and almost 7,000 of that is actually down to growth in the market. So significant figures in a fairly short space of time. Right, enough chatting, let's have a look at the notifications. So that top one is the purchase that we've just done. Beneath that you can see Apple hits an all-time high, rallying 5% on iPhone sales optimism. That was yesterday, basically 13 hours ago. And biggest stocks before earnings: Coca-Cola, General Electric, AGNC Investment, Pentair, and RTX. As usual, excuse my hesitancy if I'm not sure how to pronounce some of those company names. Most of them, or well, a good number of them, are not familiar to me. I'm just wondering if I click on this one, if it will give me any more information. Okay, so maybe not any more information, but well, there is more information, but it's maybe not much more useful, shall we say. So there's quite a few other companies they're obviously going to report. I don't know if this gives us anything. No, it doesn't. So those are companies reporting earnings before tomorrow's bell, according to that. I'm not sure if that's the opening bell or the closing bell, but there we go. Let's see what other companies I recognise here. I don't know, did we mention Coca-Cola there? We did, okay. So AGNC, Pentair, so these are maybe the... I don't know if those are more significant than the rest in the list. Lockheed Martin, RTX Corp was in the list, General Electric was in the list, Northrop Grumman wasn't in the list, Nasdaq, Galaxy Digital, 3M, Philip Morris International, General Motors, Danaher, Elevance Health, Crown, Zion's Bancorp, Steel Dynamics, Halliburton. There's a name I haven't heard for a while. I think the last time I heard mention of Halliburton was in Fahrenheit 9/11. I'll not go into it right now. Oh, okay. Things appear to have moved there or something. I don't know. Netflix now third in the list there. Now, unless maybe that's for reporting tomorrow or something like that. AT&T also in the list. I'll just call out the names that are kind of obvious to me. Chubb, Texas Instruments, Capital One Financial, Moody's. Don't know Boston Scientific, whether that's a significant one or one that's very well known. Avery Dennison sounds like something that would be well known. Do you know what? They're all listed on the stock market. They're bound to be well known to people that deal with them, or who have who work with them or anything like that. Right. Enough said. Let's come out of that. So that was the notifications, and just go back in again, just make sure it hasn't actually changed how it looks. It doesn't. Okay, so that's grand. That's really all there is to say for now. I suppose I should put up the end screen. I will do whenever I find it, don't worry. Yeah, so as I say, I broadcast each week. I have a look at the market, see how things are going. Let's actually just zoom in before I put up the end screen, just to see what that last little bit looks like there. I think there was, and bear in mind, at this point here, the market has kind of just surpassed where it had been prior to Donald Trump's tariffs announcements. So there was a little bit of a correction or a pullback there. That was 13th of October, so about a week ago. And I think that's actually to be expected. I mean, this V-shaped recovery looked sharper at the bottom, and has kind of tended to level off a little bit as it has gone up, which honestly you would expect, because as the market rises back to a point which is closer to what you might call fair market value, it seems reasonable that rather than smashing through the previous high ceiling, it would level off. It would people's appetite for taking risks at a market price that seems pretty fair is going to be much less than what it would be if they believe that the market had overreacted to news or something like that. And at that time, of course, they're ready to jump in with both feet to take advantage of the lower than fair market value, I suppose, in their opinion. Again, to quote J.L. Collins, the market is always right. So you could say, well, it's not the case that that there is an unfair price. The market acts or reacts as necessary, and price changes accordingly. Right, guys, with that said, as I say, I broadcast every week. I invest £120 into the Trading 212 practice platform. Actually, if you're not an investor as yet and you are considering becoming one, I would highly recommend that you open a Trading 212 practice account, because it, apart from anything else, it lets you get familiar with the platform without actually any risk. So that's no bad thing. I don't think there can be any reason not to do that, and you may well learn things along the way. You may decide that you do not want to be an investor in the future, and if you do, that's fine. I know plenty of people who would not have the risk appetite for stocks and shares, but who are more than happy with the returns provided by a well-performing ISA, and quite honestly, that is where those people should put their money. Right, with that said, as I say, I'll be back next week with more. So all that remains is basically to thank you for watching, and wish you a pleasant rest of your Tuesday and rest of the week. And I'll be back next week with more. Bye for now.